Hollywood is quietly making some absolutely insane movies for 2026. Some of these can end up being among the biggest movies of the year, and yet most people still have no idea they even exist. And the first one you can actually watch right now. Based on the massive internet horror phenomenon that started on YouTube, this is Backrooms. This A24 film follows people who become trapped inside an endless maze of empty yellow rooms that feel completely disconnected from reality.
This place builds them. It's like a maze, it just goes on and on.
The whole thing gives off this strange, unsettling atmosphere that almost feels like Severance mixed with found footage horror. It's coming from Kane Parsons, who also directed the YouTube version when he was a teenager. Backrooms is out right now and has all the ingredients to be a big sleeper hit in 2026. But that's not the only high potential A24 release this year. If Backrooms is the internet viral sleeper to watch, then The Death of Robin Hood is its prestige counterpart. It's essentially the anti-Marvel movie of the summer. It depicts Robin Hood not as an invincible hero, but as a murderous outlaw and brute. Hugh Jackman is going full Logan here and teaming up with the very talented Michael Sarnowski, who also directed 2021 sleeper hit Pig. It's looking like quite a different take on the classic adventure story than what we've seen in the past. The Death of Robin Hood will hit theaters on June 19th. Our next movie is already a massive hit in Korea. It's the latest film from the Train to Busan director Yun Song-ho. It's called Colony, and it's set inside a massive apartment tower during a viral outbreak where infected people begin mutating into terrifying new forms. Colony is looking like an insane and chaotic survival horror with plenty of the spectacle audiences crave. Seems like a must-see if you loved Train to Busan. Colony is already out in some countries, but it's set to hit US theaters on August 28th. But if the other films we've looked at so far are all sleeper candidates, our next movie is easily the heaviest hitter. It's called Verity, and it's in the same lane as other prestige thrillers based on books such as Gone Girl and The Girl on the Train. Verity follows a writer who moves into a famous book author's home to help her finish a book series, but she begins uncovering disturbing secrets that make her question everything about the family she's living with. This film has a big name cast with Anne Hathaway and Dakota Johnson. It already has a big fan base due to the book, but outside of those circles, most people have no idea this movie exists, and it feels like the kind of thriller that could end up being a runaway hit. It's coming to theaters on October 2nd. Another movie in 2026 that's based on a hit book is the post-apocalyptic film The Dog Stars. This movie is finally starting to gain some buzz, but not nearly as much as I would have expected for a film from an all-time great director, Ridley Scott. The Dog Stars follows a pilot who has survived a devastating pandemic and now has to face off with roaming scavengers called Reapers. It stars Jacob Elordi, Margaret Qualley, and Josh Brolin. The visuals so far look amazing. It's definitely giving some The Road vibes mixed with a more adventurous survival story. I would not be surprised at all if this ends up becoming one of the breakout sci-fi movies of 2026. The Dog Stars drops late summer, August 28th. And if you enjoy finding movies like these before everybody else starts talking about them, this is basically what we do here on CineGold. Subscribe if you want more upcoming movie discoveries, hidden gems, and the biggest films worth keeping on your radar. At number 5 is Digger, a giant mystery project starring Tom Cruise that honestly feels like almost nobody knows exists yet. It's being directed by Alejandro G. Iñárritu, the same filmmaker behind The Revenant and Birdman. The story reportedly follows one of the most powerful men in the world as he tries to stop a global catastrophe that he may have helped create himself. It's being described as a modern-day Dr. Strangelove, kind of surprising to see Tom Cruise doing a prestige-type film instead of a big-name franchise. It also stars Jesse Plemons, Riz Ahmed, and John Goodman. Really looking forward to seeing a full trailer for this. Digger is set to hit theaters on October 2nd. Then by far one of the strangest and least talked about quote-unquote superhero movies dropping this year is DC's Clayface. Leaning into pure horror rather than standard superhero action, it follows a man who becomes involved in an experimental treatment that begins horribly transforming his body into something monstrous. This is being compared to David Cronenberg's body horror The Fly and is primarily using practical effects. It was written by horror maestro Mike Flanagan and directed by James Watkins and is intended to be R-rated. Definitely one of the weirdest comic book movies we've seen come out in a while. Clayface is hitting theaters this fall, October 23rd. At number 3 is a follow-up to one of the biggest surprise movie hits of the past few years. It's called Godzilla Minus Zero and is a direct sequel to 2023's Oscar-winning movie Godzilla Minus One. Zero takes place 2 years later and again follows the Shikishima family as they face an all-new calamity. The teaser released so far doesn't show much, but I think we all know what to expect out of Godzilla movies at this point. Kind of surprised this is still under the radar, but after the first movie became such a massive word-of-mouth hit, the sequel could suddenly turn into a full-blown global event. We'll see. Godzilla Minus Zero hits theaters on November 3rd. Our number 2 movie is being hailed as the most expensive and ambitious South Korean film ever made. It's the epic sci-fi thriller Hope. Hope is directed by Na Hong-jin, the mastermind behind the cult horror masterpiece The Wailing. It takes place in a remote Korean town after a mysterious alien life form crash lands nearby, triggering a terrifying chain of events that slowly pushes the entire community into chaos. Hope is apparently a high-intensity movie in the same vein as Mad Max Fury Road, blended with sci-fi creature horror. It's already being called a full-throttle crowd pleaser. This is definitely a candidate for breakout hit. Hope is scheduled to release sometime in summer 2026. And at number 1 is one of the wildest and most mysterious movies coming in 2026, The End of Oak Street. It follows a quiet suburban neighborhood that suddenly finds itself transported into a mysterious prehistoric world filled with dinosaurs and other creatures. There's lots of big names behind this movie. It stars Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor. It's being produced by J.J. Abrams. It comes from David Robert Mitchell, the filmmaker behind It Follows. It looks like the type of film Steven Spielberg would have made in the 1980s. It's like Jurassic Park mixed with a surreal sci-fi nightmare. Very intriguing movie that few people seem to be paying attention to. The End of Oak Street is set to hit theaters on August 14th. Which one of these movies are you most excited for? And are there any huge upcoming films you think deserve to be on a list like this that almost nobody is talking about yet? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.